Okay, my audio should be synced now. So... I'm trying out a microphone today. This is a microphone that I've actually used for like school projects. My sister used to use it for streaming. Plug my sister. She still streams, she just doesn't use my microphone anymore. I've actually ordered some smaller microphones, like those little lavalier ones, just because I think it'll make my life easier, but for now I have this big one, and I'm hoping it'll make the audio sound a little bit better. I don't really have a basis for that. Hold on, I'm hearing Goose jingle, I'm gonna go let him in. Tonight, Caspian and I are gonna go see the new Chainsaw Man movie, so I wanted to cosplay Aki and Angel, and he has kindly agreed to do it with me. But for that, I needed his wings, because when I've cosplayed him in the past, I've used just like these little baby pathetic wings. I actually have them, I can show them to you. I fear this is just not that impressive. So
I wanted an upgrade.
So I made retractable wings covered in foam feathers that I cut out myself individually in 24 hours, which was not something I had to do by any means. Like fully, I was not in that kind of time crunch. I started this project like a week ago, so fully I could have spread it out over multiple days, but the thing was I didn't want to clean up the mess multiple times. That is why I forced myself to do this. If you hear a little bit of jingling, that's because Caspian's cat has entered my room. Goose is wandering around and he has this like cute little jester collar on right now as his Halloween costume. It's so cute, but he's jingling. Goose is going to be a big player in this video, let me tell you. The like light glare on my glasses is really bothering me, but I'm just gonna have to be normal about it. So anyway, want to make wings in 24 hours? You can, but it might be torturous, okay? So be prepared for that. I basically at 3 p.m. Oh, Goose. At 3 p.m. on Friday, I started with like cutting out the feathers, and by like Saturday night, honestly, it might have been a little more than 24 hours. I finished at 6, so I started at 3 and I finished at 6 the following day. So 27 hours, but like that's nitpicking. That's nitpicking and you know it. I had to take breaks and stuff. I had to sleep overnight, okay? So what was the process? First things first, I had a roll of 70 yards of packing foam. It's very thin material and white, obviously. Actually, I want to see if I can find like a piece that I can show to you real quick. So this right here is an extra feather that didn't make it onto the wings. I don't know. I think it was under the table or something. So it's a very light material and it has good movement, if that makes any sense. But it is a pain in the ass. So if you want to save yourself the trouble and just buy packs of feathers, oh my god, I totally recommend. If you're going for more realism anyway, that might be what you want, and I've seen plenty of people do that. It looks fantastic. This is cheaper though. So I did this because it's a lot cheaper than buying feathers. But with that, you commit yourself to a far greater time commitment. So anyway, imagine a roll of this. That's what I was working with. I think it was 1 foot by 70 yards, and I cut all of it. So 70 yards with this fucking, Jesus, 210 feet of foam that I cut up with scissors into feathers, and it took years off of my life. So anyway, I've done enough yapping. Let's get into the details. I've seen a lot of people who make a base out of either wire or wood. I did actually start with a base, so that is a big caveat to this. It wasn't completely from scratch. I had these like mounted wings that they just have straps that you can put on your back. And the main reason I was drawn to using these as opposed to making the base myself out of wire is because it has these 2 strings that you can tug on and the wings extend. So they can be like in a resting position like they would look like behind your back, but you can also extend them to a full wingspan. I think that's awesome, so that's why I went for these. If that's not something that's important to you, you could just make a base yourself with simple wire for wings that just stay over your shoulder. I just thought this was really cool. Then hot glue gun. Basic hot glue gun. I borrowed my roommate's actually. I was about to say everyone has a hot glue gun. I couldn't find mine anywhere, so I had to borrow my roommate's, and I did get them more glue sticks to make up for all the glue sticks that I used, because you're gonna use a lot of glue sticks. There's a lot of hot glue involved in this process, just getting that off the bat. So I started with obviously cutting out all of the individual feathers, and I went for 4 sizes. It was not completely consistent, but for the most part I went for 4 sizes. I did not have a guide, I just kind of followed my heart, so I went for some very long ones, I would guess about 10 inches, and then down to some long ones, probably close to 7 or 8, some medium ones at like 6, and some small ones that were probably 4 to 5 inches long. This is all just like using the power of my mind, because I did not measure any of this while I was doing this. I've seen people who use templates. I decided I didn't care. I hope that this is something that is understandable, because this is crucial to making it go just like exponentially faster. Essentially, you cut it to the length that you want the feathers to be, and you keep that length while you fold it into 4ths. Then you cut out the feathers. So you're cutting out 4 feathers at a time. That is crucial. And I was just cutting like an elongated shape that kind of pointed at the end. It wasn't really any science. And I've seen people who will stop here and leave it like this, just like a soft oval-y shape. I wanted a little bit more texture to it, so as you could probably see before, I added these little triangle cutouts into all the feathers. So once I cut out the 4 of them, I would keep them stacked, and then I would go along each side, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, flip it over, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. Make sense? I hope so. This takes forever. Like, yes, you are cutting out 4 at a time, and yes, that saves a lot of time, but it still is going to take forever. So just put on a movie, put on some YouTube videos. I ended up watching a bunch of movies. I started with Shrek 2, I went on to K-pop Demon Hunters. My roommate came home and said that they loved Wild Robot, so we watched Wild Robot. Yeah, I just put on Shrek 2 and I got to cutting, and it took forever, and it was really boring, but you really just have to power through at this stage. I didn't really have like a rhyme or reason to like what length of feather I was cutting out at any given moment. I could just kind of decided, I'm gonna cut some long ones, I'm gonna cut some medium ones, I'm gonna cut some short ones. I did separate them into piles, so when I would cut one of the longest feathers, I would put it into a pile of just longest feathers. This step is also crucial. If you get them all mixed up, it is going to make your life way harder later. Trust me. I had all of mine in piles, and then my lovely little friend Goose went crazy. Goose is my boyfriend's cat, and he was just running amok. He was rolling around the foam, he was playing with the scraps, he was going by the table and knocking the feathers off the table with his tail swishing. He was a little menace, and that didn't stop at the cutting stage, let me tell you. He would like roll over them or like run across the room, and the wind would like send them flying. So Goose did some hard work shuffling up my pile of feathers. So I recommend having a paperweight. I started doing that where I would have a stack of feathers and put something heavy on top so that they would all stay together. I don't know why I wasn't doing that the whole time. Should have been doing that the whole time, but I was not. Now we can get into, assuming at this point you've cut out all your feathers. At this point I had cut out all of my feathers. It is time to lay them down. So get on the floor. It's the only place you're gonna have enough room. Spread out like your wings on the floor. If you don't have room for the full wingspan, which I did not, you can just fold up one side and do them one at a time. But I will say this hurts your symmetry, like your chance of being fully symmetrical. If you're able to do them both at the same time, they will be more symmetrical, but it will be more of a hassle, and you have to have a lot of room to lay out, which I did not. So I did one wing at a time, and you want to start from the bottom and work your way up. That way they layer nicely. The new feathers cover up the old ones. I started with my longest feathers and I went around the bottom edge following the pre-cut pattern that's in the fabric. And I wanted to add some extra length. So I actually put like the top of the feathers glued to the bottom of the wings so that the whole length of the feathers would be added onto the wings. So I think this is a good idea, but I think I could have done it a little bit better. Because of the flexibility of the foam, it leaves them a little bit unstable at the bottom. So I think if you're using real feathers, putting them all the way up like to the edge on the bottom will probably be fine, but because I used foam, it's a little flimsy. So I wish I had gone like a little further up just so that they would have a little bit more stability, but I don't think it's like a huge issue. I'd also like to say this is the point that I realized that I need double the amount of feathers that I thought that I did because I have to cover the back. This is also the part where I admit that the back is not as well covered as the front is because I ran out of foam. So the front looks great. The front looks fantastic, but if I ever wanted to wear these to a con, I would have to get an additional roll of foam because, and again, it's my fault, so I want you to learn from my mistakes. On the front of the wings, I put feathers too close together, especially on the first like bottom edge. I was like layering them on like crazy, and you have to come to terms with the fact that the wings are white. It's not like you're trying to make up for like the color of the wings. As long as the fabric is covered by feathers, they do not need to be so close together. I put them way too close together, which made not only way more work for myself, but it's gonna make me have to buy new material later. So my recommendation to you is, as you're watching like my placement of the feathers, just imagine I put them up like an extra inch or two on it. Honestly, probably an extra 2 inches, because fully they do not need to be just like stacked on top of each other like sardines. You will get a good amount of coverage if you just place them strategically, which I did not do. So learn from my mistakes and be better. So I did both bottom edges first. I did the bottom edge of the first pair of wings, and then I looked at the video of the bottom edge to make sure it was mirrored on the other side to make sure they were symmetrical. I'm sure I didn't do a perfect job, but I do think that this is worthy of doing, just looking at your placement. And as I'm doing this, I'm starting from the center closest to where my back is going to be and going out. I didn't always do this. I think a couple times I caught myself like going back the opposite way, but it will look best if you start from the center and make your way out. At this point, I decided to do a try-on just to see like what the edge of the wing looked like before I started adding anything else. I wanted to see the silhouette, so I tried them on. I expanded them to the full wingspan, did a 360, and I was happy with how they were looking. If I wanted to change anything, this would have been like the time to do so, because it would have been a lot easier to pull off the bottom feathers than if I had already layered on a bunch more. Also, you will see throughout my time lapses, Goose just all over the place. He had no respect for the crafting process, and he knows he's bad, but he's just so cute that he knows that he can get away with it. And he can, like, I'll let him. A tip for while you're laying down the feathers also is that the glue will eat the foam if it's too hot. So that's why you start to see me putting down larger areas of glue and then going into the feathers, as opposed to what I started off doing, which was putting a dot of glue, putting the feather, putting a dot of glue, putting the feather. Putting a larger area of glue not only like saves you time, honestly, but it lets it cool down just a little bit, so it's still like sticky, but it doesn't melt through the foam, because if it's way too hot, it will melt through the foam. The man himself has entered the building. He heard me talking about him and how he honestly was wreaking havoc on my experience. So, I'm trying to think of any other tips that are important. I talked about placement, I talked about which ways to go. Hi, Pierce. maybe lock up your kitties while you do this. Another thing that was really like difficult, hi mister, was keeping this little guy away from my hot glue gun. There he goes. This is me waking up the next morning and realizing how much work I have to still do and just being so upset. Also, as I said before, the main reason that I did this in 24 hours is because I did not want to clean up the mess multiple times, because look at this living room. I also didn't want my roommates to have to deal with this mess multiple times. So I wanted a one and done. When I got to the back of the wings, an issue arose. I was out of feathers. What I ended up doing is going through my scraps and seeing if I could salvage like any extra feathers out of scrap pieces. And I was able to get a good few, but the problem is it was taking 4 times as long because I couldn't cut out multiple at a time, and they were teeny tiny because they were cut out of the margins in between full-sized feathers. So this was very inefficient and very soul-crushing, and I would spend like 45 minutes cutting out feathers and then look at the pile and it was like that big. It was a soul-crushing process. At some point I like painted one of the hinges white, and I only did one, and I only did one side, and I don't know why. So when I was working on the back, I had a lot less material to work with. Around the bottom edges, because they were so flimsy on the other side, I wanted to make them more stable, so I glued feathers like further up on this side, so that I could attach them and they could kind of support each other, so that when, like, if this is the longest feather, I was gluing them like here so that there was a little bit more base support, if that makes sense. Just to keep them from getting like bent or misshapen or ripped or anything, I wanted to give them like a little extra support. So because I had a lot less material to work with, the back is a lot flimsier, but I did my best. I ended up taking a break to go to the store and try to find more foam, because cutting out additional feathers out of scrap foam was so soul crushing. And like, waste not, want not. I'm glad that I got like absolutely everything possible out of the foam, for the sake of like sustainability and my wallet, but also like, oh my god, it was terrible. Went to a few stores, no foam. That was really sad. Well, actually, worse. Staples had packing foam, same like width, same thickness, but it was blue! It was blue! Can't use blue foam. So that was really sad for me, but honestly, it was pretty expensive, so I didn't want it anyway. I used really teeny tiny cutout feathers, mostly made out of scraps, to cover the top edge, and I still don't think the top edge is as clean as I would like it to be, but it's as good as it's gonna get for this occasion specifically. I will make it better later, but we are going for good, not like fantastic, in this 24-hour wing process. I'm sure you watching this tutorial might like follow this and make wings 1,000 times better than mine. This is a project that I have put off for over a year, and then I completed it in 24 hours. So if you're ever procrastinating something, maybe just do it. This felt free. This felt like a free cosplay wing process because I spent all the money in 2024. And now the movie's tonight, so I have not worn these wings yet, but I want to show you the finished product. So here is what they look like with my Angel Devil costume. This is also not the only costume I plan on using these wings for. I want to cosplay Pit from Kid Icarus, and just like any other winged character, I now have like a versatile pair of retractable wings. That's cool. I decided to just store them in that like long box that it came in, just so that they don't get damaged being shoved around. They're protected, so I'm just gonna keep the box. I'm glad that I didn't recycle it immediately. I'm glad that I held on to it, so my wings can be kept safe. I recommend doing that if you get these retractable wings and they come in a long box. Keep the box, put them back in. But even though like the back is a little sparse, I don't think it's like a huge issue, especially when they're folded up. You cannot tell at all But if I were to take these to a convention, I would want to fill them out more. But for now, I'm very happy with how they turned out. I hope this video was helpful to you guys if you're trying to make wings, or if you're just bored and you wanted a video to play in the background, or if one day you might wear wings.
Do you wear wigs?
If you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you for watching. It means a lot to me. I am trying to grow this platform, as my primary platform may be disappearing from the US in the near future, so give me a follow. If you enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like, maybe leave a comment. Actually, I would love if you left a comment because I like reading them and I like replying to them. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get up. So yeah, if I forgot anything while like talking through this process, I'll probably add it in post. Maybe text on the screen, who's to say, maybe a little editing fin clip. But if I haven't forgotten anything, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you when I post another video. Bye!